Hello everyone. So I'm going to make a tier list about bosses from Kingdom Hearts 2 because I just finished the game. Well, the up until the final boss, and I felt like making a list for it. So let's get to it. First of all, Axel. Uh, these aren't the data fights. I don't think there's any data fights in here, which is a little weird, but I haven't done them in a long time, so that's fine. I wouldn't know where to place them anyway. Axel himself, start of the game, is, I think, a pretty basic fight. I'm gonna put it in the middle at least for now, because it's not that special of a fight. There's not that much going on. I mean, you basically have no moveset yet. There's just not much they could have done. It's like the tutorial fight. Uh, well, that would be this guy, but I'm actually going to put him a little lower, just because he's, I don't know. To me, he's like the big shadow in Kingdom Hearts 1, just less interesting, just the nobody version of it. And Axel is at least a really cool character, one of my favorite characters in the franchise. Anyway, moving on. Captain Barbossa, the first run of the Port Royal, is, I think, also not that great of a fight. There's not that much going on other than the gimmick of sometimes it becomes dark and sometimes you can't hit him. But not being able to hit him is just annoying most of the time because he'll stand in the shadows and refuse to move out. And the becoming dark is not his mechanic, that's this guy. So, yeah, I'm gonna put him just below average because there's not much wrong with it other than the fact that it's just not that special. As for Beast, I'm actually going to put it in F tier because it's not even really a fight. You might even be thinking, wait, when do you even fight Beast? You fight him in your first visit of Beast Castle, and maybe it's the second fight, second visit. I'm not even sure anymore. Even I've forgotten. I just played it. You fight him for a moment. I think it's first run. And basically you just have an ability, a reaction command to stop him from doing anything. And then you just use that, then go hammer on him, and then use it again, and he can't do anything. So it's just a damage sponge rather than a fight. Next up we have uh, this Lord of Blizzard, or whatever his official name is. It's a really forgettable boss, but I am going to put it higher than Beast just because I really like the idea for the lords. I really enjoy the concept of the fight. It's just that they are so extremely pathetic. You kill them before you even really get to the gimmick of the fight, because they just don't have any health at all, and they aren't all that strong, so you can just kind of take their damage, ignore them, while you keep hitting the one that's on the ground. I like the fight, has potential, but it's just not a good fight. Cerberus is always a pretty good staple. It's a pretty good fight. I think it's not as good as the Kingdom Hearts 1 Cerberus fight, but that comes down to difficulty. This one has a lot less health. Cloud is actually a difficult one to rank because you never really fight Cloud. You fight him together with Leon, I believe, in the Paradox Cup, if I remember correctly. But you don't fight them separately at any point. Same with Tifa and Yuffie. You don't find them separate at any moment, so it's hard to tell how good they are. So I'm just gonna say Cloud. I'm just gonna put them basically all in the average class, because I don't think any of them are bad. Actually, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna put them one lower just because I think these are both really good fights, even if they're in the same one. And Yuffie and Tifa are a little less. I don't remember how Tifa fights, which should say enough. Where is Yuffie? There she is. Right. The unshackled form of the Formed Beast is also not that interesting of a fight, but it's not a bad fight. I'm just gonna put it again in the middle. There's a lot of those, apparently. Because it's a good fight. It's just not nothing all that special. Because it's just a case of slap him, use a reaction command, slap him again. Which I think is just the case for most of the early game bosses in this game. Demix is, no offense, big F tier for me. You fight him twice, and both times you just keep spamming basic hits and then reaction commands, and it's all you have to do. I used to lose to him as a kid, and now that I've played the game a few times as an adult, I just can't imagine how I lost to him. Because I literally just button mash, and it is an easy victory every damn time. So, yeah, I'm gonna put him here. The Experiment. Now, I had a little trouble with him this run that I just did, but that's because I had anti-form trigger during the fight when I was trying to level up my Valor on the boss. That makes it more difficult, obviously. But I don't think the boss is all that special other than that. I'm going to put it here. It's definitely not a bad boss fight. It definitely might even be interesting enough to go here, but you know what? I'm just going to do it like this. Just so there's some difference between all of these C's. The Jafar fight is honestly an F for me as well, because most of the time he's just being annoying, like throwing you far away. I had him on like 1 health, and all I had to do was do a combo to finish him off, and before I could do a single combo on him, he did like 3 of those moves where he puts you into a alternate reality or something, which is just really annoying because all you have to do is just hit his waist a few times, use a reaction command, and then he's standing still. But he kept spamming spells at me, and I think those spells stop if you break his shackles. But I also couldn't get to those, and I just kind of wanted to do that one combo so I didn't feel like trying to get the shackles, and it's just annoying that he spams you with spells that much and spams you with alternate scenes. I don't remember what this boss is called, but it's the Port Royal Second Visit guy who steals the coins. I actually quite like this fight. Not like very much, but I do enjoy this fight. Because there's a gimmick, and you actually get to see and enjoy the gimmick, and it's not as simple as just slap, reaction command, slap, reaction command, because you have to use the spells to get the coins. And when you have all the coins, you can start whacking him normally. So there's a little bit of mechanic, and it reminds me of Kurt Siza from Kingdom Hearts 1, which is a really good boss fight, in my opinion. I'm probably going to do a Kingdom Hearts 1 boss fight list as well, and that's going to be rough, because a lot of bosses are going to be S, A, and B. I love Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds and bosses just so much. I think the other games sometimes lack a bit compared to Kingdom Hearts 1 on that aspect. On other aspects, they've definitely improved immensely, but there's definitely some things they could learn from their own past games. This guy, I think he's called Ground Shaker, if I remember correctly. It's not that great, in my opinion, because it's, again, one of those that's just annoying to hit the last hit on. It's just a huge damage sponge. Like, it's hard to miss him, but at the same time, doing that final combo is annoying because he keeps moving. So you're basically just waiting for a reaction command to stun him just so you can actually do that final combo. And if you just finish your reaction command sequence, you have to wait the entire sequence again. Hades. I actually like Hades in this game quite a lot. Maybe more than Kingdom Hearts 1. I mean, obviously, I wish he was a lot tankier. I wish he could tank a lot more than he currently does in the game. But this game definitely beats Kingdom Hearts 1 in terms of making the fights interesting. With blocking, reflecting, etc. And that's quite fun to do with Hades here. So I'm actually going to put him in A. I think he's a very good boss because he's quite easy to use Reflect on. But he's just not... No, I'm going to put him back in B, actually. Because he's not that good. But he's definitely a fun fight. Hainer, this is the struggle. I mean, I'm going to just... I don't really consider these boss fights. Kind of the same with Leon and Cloud. But, I don't know, the struggle fights were really, 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 really easy. There was no challenge whatsoever from any of the struggle fights. So, Cypher as well. And the champion, where is he? He's probably in here too, right? I suppose I'm just blind. So, we'll come across him at some point. There's also Shadow Roxas. I don't remember fighting Shadow Roxas, to be honest. Was that a struggle fight? I don't remember. I'm gonna put that in... I'm just gonna put that in F because it's probably just a tutorial fight. It's probably not that interesting in terms of combat. Yeah, I really think the champion is missing from this list, which is a little odd. He might be final mix only, maybe. Because this is clearly a non-final mix list because there's no data fights, no lingering... Oh, there is lingering will. I thought that was final mix only. But I'm also noticing Stormrider is base pattern, not the recaller, which I almost always prefer anyway, but oh well. Hercules wasn't that great of a fight. Again, just a hit him and it's done. He doesn't really do that much damage. Maybe it's just because I did him over leveled. I don't know. But not a very exciting fight. Not as much as Kingdom Hearts 1, though he was quite annoying there. It was a better fight than this one, I think. Hostile Program. Hostile Fires, whatever he's called. I think it's a pretty decent fight. Yeah, let's put him there. Not much to say about it. It's just, again, whack him a bit, but he has more interesting moveset than some of the other ones down here. Hydra is a pretty good fight. I enjoyed the Hydra fight. The only downside of the fight, honestly, is... But it's also an upside. Is Phil constantly screaming, "Get onto Hydra's back!" I don't remember why he screams it every second, but he sure does. The hyenas... I think you fight them twice, so I don't know which fight this is meant to represent. You fight them at some point in the Elephant Graveyard, and you also fight them at Pride Rock. And the Pride Rock fight is definitely more interesting, but also still not that good of a fight. Because they're just attacking Timon and Pumbaa. and they're just running in circles, and they're just annoying to hit, and they don't even really attack you. But in the graveyard, they just also try to run away from you. And if you finish a combo on them, they jump away, like right before you finish the combo, which is annoying because you can't defeat them until you do a combo. I'm gonna put them in F tier. This little lizard dude who makes the game go dark, that's an F tier. He has like 5 health. You hit him 3 times, he's dead. He's also really not that hard to find even in the dark because of the glowing eyes. There's just no difficulty there at all. It's just an extra mechanic just to make the Barbosa fight a little more interesting. Which is honestly why Barbosa's up here and not in the F tier. So, good job on that little gecko dude, but no, not gonna be higher than this. If they gave him an actual health bar, and not just like a stupid throwaway gimmick thing, I actually might have enjoyed this boss, but it's literally just there to hit it 3 times so you can see Barbosa again. It's nothing more than that. Larxene. Larxene is going to be my first A. And I think that's going to be a occurring theme of a lot of the organization members, because I think a lot of those fights are quite good. But yeah, fairly fun fight. Quite difficult, especially like at the point in the game where you fight her. In the grand scheme of things, compared to the data fights and such, she's really not that hard. But she is hard for the time you fight her at, like, level 32 or something. Laxius, I'm gonna put a little lower, just because I don't really remember his fight as well. I just remember he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Don't remember why. I haven't done his Absent Silhouette yet in my current run. Lingering Will, I will have to admit I've never fought him yet. In this run I'm going to, but I've never done it before. I was going to do it after Sephiroth, who I'm also going to put in this list, because I've never beaten him. I have tried, I have just not beaten him. But these two I was going to do after the data fights. And then I did almost all of the data fights. I think I had 1 or 2 left. And then I stopped. I don't remember why. I think I was kind of getting to the point of rage at one of them. And then I stopped. And because of that, I never got around to doing Sephiroth and Lingering Will. So yeah, haven't fought them. I do think they're both very good fights. Very, very challenging fights. In Kingdom Hearts 1, I think the challenging part is not necessarily what makes it fun. In Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, it definitely is, because the fighting is just much more... There's so much more going on. In Kingdom Hearts 1, you kind of just... It's very slow-paced, so how a boss looks and everything is much more important than if it's actually a difficult fight. But in this game, difficulty definitely makes it more fun to me. Now that I'm older, at least. As a kid, I definitely would not have agreed, but I actually do enjoy the difficulty nowadays. Lock, Shock, and Barrel, though, not difficult at all. I think I defeated all of them in like 2 combos with the least amount of effort possible. For something fairly late into the game, they are way too easy. Luxord, probably my least favorite. Well, I don't know if it's my least favorite, but it's one of my least favorite organization fights in the game. In this game. Even though it's one of my favorite organization members, I just don't find the fight all that good because of the weird health bar thing. And the fact he just turns you into cards and everything. And then you just have to sit there and wait for the card thing to go away. I'm not a big fan of fights that just make you sit there and wait for something to happen. Marluxia, that's an A tier. It's a very interesting one. Big gimmick. Very apparent gimmick. It actually took me a while to kind of master, and I'm gonna have to relearn how to do that for my current run. But I did beat Data Marluxia, so I should be fine. I'm guessing I'll pick the patterns up pretty quickly. Uh, this guy. The issue here is, again, Sark is also here, and Sark is just nothing. You know, you hit him on his legs 3 times, and then you hit him on his head with 2 or 3 combos, and then he's just down for the count for a while. I think the command program is more interesting, but still very easy. Very much just hit it and it's done. Not really much going on in terms of gimmick. Well, you don't hit it, you use a reaction command. But that doesn't make it any better. Probably worse, honestly. Because it's just one reaction command, and that's the entire fight. Oogie Boogie. I don't like him nearly as much as in Kingdom Hearts 1, but I am going to put him in B for being a pretty enjoyable fight. One of the better ones from the non-organization boss fights. Pete. I don't know which Pete fight this is. I think you fight him twice. I'm going to put him in basic. This guy wasn't even really a fight. This was more so just punch him to prove that he's not actually a boss. This guy, also, I don't know why he's here, because that's the possessor that's inside of the door. But he's not actually difficult. He does nothing. He just floats around the room while you hit him, and then he goes back into the door. But since the door is listed as a separate boss, the fun part of the boss fight, which is pretty average, is actually, like, not him. I'm also calling this average despite the fact that the average is clearly a low D. Yeah, oh well. If the data fights were here, there'd be a lot more in this category. This guy is also pretty average, not that special. Roxas, that's an S tier for me though. I did this fight today, fresh in my memory. I never used to use reflects, I just brute force everything on my earlier playthroughs, even as an adult. But for my current playthrough, I've decided to start mastering reflects, because brute forcing my way through the data fights was torturous, to say the least. And I'm thinking if I can brute force my way through them, I can probably do it the right way too. But with more fun, less rage, more actual payoff. And yeah, Roxas' fight was very, very aesthetic. It's very your move, my move, your move, my move, with the blocks and everything, and I love it. Really good fight. Sykes, it's gonna go in. It's gonna go in B just because it's one of the more simple ones. The data one's more interesting, but the basic one is just jump around while he does his berserk, and then grab his weapon and slap him on his butt, and then hit him again. Just do a combo, and then wait for his next berserk. So it's more simple. It's still more fun than a lot of the other bosses, because it is an enjoyable fight for sure. Just not that interesting compared to some of the other ones. Scar, yeah, D seems pretty fitting. It's not a bad fight. It's not an interesting fight either. Shackled Beast. Whereas the other one, it's gonna go one lower because it's just a little less interesting. I don't remember this guy's fight, to be completely honest. I mean, I remember the fight. I'm trying to remember if he had anything interesting going on, but I think I just pummeled him around as well. I think it was also just a case of like get him in the air and just combo him. This guy, I'm gonna put him just higher because he actually has a fight. It's not just slap him around, win, which is basically what the rest of this tier has become. Vexen, I haven't beaten him yet. I got absolutely wrecked last time I tried, but that was at level 42 or 43, which apparently is underleveled for Vexen. But it was a fun fight. It is a pretty interesting one. I think it's gonna go low A. I'm not really putting them in order too much, but yeah, low A. Zaldin, I do like the Zaldin fight. That's gonna be an A for me as well. It's a fun, fairly challenging fight. One of the only ones in the base game that I actually die to. On my first playthrough, before I start grinding stuff. Well, then we have the 3 phases, I guess 4 phases of Xemnas. This one is really not that good. This one's just slap him, reflect, slap, reflect, slap, reflect, with every now and then going through space in a very finicky control situation. The ship's. I don't like the concept of the boss. I don't like that we're suddenly in flying around with a giant space dragon statue, dragon beast thing. I don't understand why there's suddenly the castle turns into a dragon. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't really enjoy that part of the fight. However, the fight itself is what I'm judging right now, and it goes pretty smooth. So it's a decent average. Xemnas fight is actually S tier though. I could never beat this as a kid. I just genuinely, I don't think I beat him even once as a kid. So I never got to see the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 until I was an adult. But it's such a good fight. Again, reflecting is fun. It's doable, but also challenging. And there's a lot of things you can actually just feel happy and proud of doing in this fight. It's very satisfying to nail the timing on some of these things. The fight is not necessarily super difficult, but it's also definitely not easy. So, S tier for me. Very enjoyable. This one is an A tier. It's not as enjoyable as the final boss, Xemnas, but this one also very fun to reflect, very fun to actually fight properly. It's just a very simple, quick fight, and a lot of it is just him teleporting around, doing one combo, and then teleporting again in one combo. And it's kind of hard to get him into a good, satisfying punching situation, unlike the final boss one, which you can definitely get into a bit of a stun lock for at least 1 or 2 combos. But he has the health to handle that as well. So, yeah, this one's definitely a tier lower, but still a good fight. Xigbar's also an S tier for me, honestly. Because, again, fighting him properly, using reflect and everything, it works really well with his fight. He's not super difficult, but he's also a boss you can definitely lose to. I honestly don't know how I did him first try on my run. I got anti-form in the middle of it, during that section where he starts doing crazy rapid fire stuff. Turns out you can't die during that last attack of that entire section. So I just tanked it, and somehow that made me win. Which is really, really lucky. But I actually would not have minded if I lost, because it's an enjoyable fight. I don't mind doing it twice. And then there's Zexion. And I mentioned earlier that Luxor was my least favorite. And I'm gonna rescind that statement, because Zexion is going in the D tier. Because he is nothing other than annoying. There isn't really such a thing as blocking with him. He turns you into a book no matter what you do. I've never had a single run where he didn't turn me into a book at least once. And when he turns you into a book, it's just kind of RNG. I don't usually die to it, but it is still just kind of RNG. Like, can you get out quickly, or are you there for a minute or two, maybe free, or even longer if you're very unlucky? So, yeah, lowest of the fights in here for me from the organization. But that's my Kingdom Hearts 2 tier list for the bosses. It's sad there are no final mix bosses here, though, again, I think that's mostly just the data fights, and I wouldn't know where to place those. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to leave a like, just so I know anyone is watching. And I'll probably make a Kingdom Hearts 1 tier list or a Kingdom Hearts 2 Worlds tier list or something at some point, whether I get likes or not. So if you don't want to like, don't. But I'll see you on the next video, I suppose, and feel free to leave comments if you agree or disagree with any of the things I said here. I'm open to discussion, and I look forward to discussing the next video as well. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.